And now,
introducing
the one, the only.
Let me introduce to you
Lively talk with successful people, barely filtered. This is the Jenna Ben Show.
What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in to the Jenna Ben Show. I'm your host, Jenna Ben-Ami, and with us today, we have OG Antonio McKee and guest of honor, Zion Clark. What's up, guys?
What's up?
What's going on?
Happy to be back.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're back. You know, Tone was supposed to be here for my 50th show where I got interviewed. He couldn't make it because he was at Bellator in Hawaii. But here we are today, and our focus today is on this 22-year-old badass, Zion Clark, who apparently is tearing up the wrestling and track world. So we're going to jump right in. Now, what's special about you, or I think what's really brought your talents to the surface, is your diagnosis of Caudal Regression Syndrome. Tell us about that.
It's a very rare disease. You know, a lot of there's I don't know how to put it. Very few kids are born with it. I think it's about like 1 out of every 100,000 children each year are born with it. So it's a super rare disease. I've only ever met one other person my entire lifetime that has the disease.
Okay. And you were born with it. And when we spoke previously, you had talked about your mom using drugs and alcohol. And so did that play a role in this syndrome?
Yes, it played a huge role in it, actually. Say she didn't do any of that. One, I wouldn't be born with that condition. I'd be quote unquote normal. I mean, I am normal.
Right.
But I'd be born quote unquote normal like any other child. But sadly, that's not what happened.
Right. And you have siblings that are quote unquote normal.
Yes.
Okay. You have 3 siblings.
Yes, I have 2 older sisters and a little brother. These are biological siblings.
Biological, yeah. You have a huge family, and we're going to get into that. Really an incredible life story. You've definitely been through it. And then when I think of people who have been through it, but like didn't have the challenge of not having legs to be mobile, you know, and then I look at all that you've accomplished, you know, I feel honored to have you here and share your story. Your mom gave you up for adoption. Tell us about that.
She was very unfit to take care of herself. So on top of a child, while she was pregnant with me, she was in and out of jail. When she was having me, she was in jail. So I had to remove her from the jail, take her to the hospital, have me. Then she had to go back to jail. So then there's no way. And they gave her the option of trying to get like early release, see if she'd be suitable to take care of me, but she just declined it.
Wow. Okay. And so I'm assuming she gave up custody of her other kids as well.
Oh yeah, she gave up custody of all of us.
At the same time or prior to you being born?
Well, my 2 older biological sisters, I've talked to them quite a few times. They lived with her for a while, but then she lost custody of them. And my little brother, she immediately lost custody of him.
Wow. Okay. All right. So then you were in the foster care system.
Yes, I was in the foster care system for the first 16 and a half years of my life. It was not pretty, not sunshine and rainbows like some foster care stories you hear, you know. There's a lot of crap that went on, a lot of BS you would say, but I don't know how I made it, but there'd be times I'd be locked in a room, maybe 2-3 days, maybe once, maybe twice a day, get a piece of bread and half a glass of water.
Wow.
That went on for a while. That's what I used to be. I used to be tiny.
Yeah.
You see, I'm big.
You're
now,
pretty ripped. Yeah. You have very big arms and chest. Yeah.
Imagine none of that. Just pretty much skin and bones. That's what I was like, and it stayed that way all the way up until I was about 16, and my adoptive mother got me, and she saw how small I was. She fattened me up like a turkey.
Yeah, like a turkey. Okay, so in going through these homes, how many different homes were you in?
I went through about nine foster homes. Bounced back to the same one a couple times. So I mean, technically you could add a couple to that, but I'd say it stops at about 9. Honestly, I can't remember all of them. I just see paperwork. I mean, that shows how long I've been in the system. It's been a long time.
Yeah. And that's fairly fresh for you, given that you're 22. I mean, it feels like it wasn't that long ago. So when you were in the system, did you have the opportunity to choose your home, or you know, kind of like dictate who you wanted to be with, or maybe if they were, like you said, locking you in a room, I mean, that's abuse. So if you were in an abusive situation, were you able to speak? Were you able to have a voice?
Here's the hard truth. No one listens to a kid.
Yeah.
They don't. A kid says something like, hey, my mom's doing this, my dad's doing that, this person's doing this. They're going to look like you're crazy and then that you just making stuff up.
Wow.
And that's how it was. I'd be like, I'm not getting food at home. And then they didn't pay for my school lunch. So I wasn't eating at school, wasn't eating at home. So they're thinking that, like, I'm just not eating food or nothing like that. And I remember like, yeah, this how like it happened yesterday. I was in 2nd grade. And the one foster lady, she threw a wooden chair at me and split my face open. Like, I still have a scar on my nose from that.
Wow.
And I went to school. And I tried to tell them that she threw the chair at me because, like, I didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
And they didn't believe me. They thought I just fell or something. So they put a Band-Aid on my nose and just sent me on my way. And they called her about it. And guess what? I got even more trouble when I got back to the house.
Well, that is reckless, because when you think about any sort of domestic abuse, anytime someone tries to speak out and then, you know, that gets back to the abuser, it's always worse for the victim.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm sorry that you went through that, but let's fast forward. We're going to jump into your new living arrangement at 16, but I want to first talk about how you got into wrestling, because you started at age 8.
Yeah. So my high school coach, his twin brother, it's like a really small world. His twin brother was my art teacher in 2nd grade and came up to me, asked me if I wanted to try wrestling. I didn't know what it was. So I went and tried it, and I don't know, just stayed with it. And met his nephew, which is my best friend, which is my high school coach's son, and we're the same age. Shout out to Jake Donahue. But
Jake Donahue, I've heard about you a little bit. I'm really excited. I'm glad that you guys have been able to maintain this friendship.
Yeah, and you know, Jake really kept me in wrestling. I watched him excel. Like, I had a lot of struggles in the sport, but like I never stopped doing it.
Yeah.
And I kept doing it. Now I'm on like, what, year 15? So.
Okay, and with us, we have Antonio McKee, who is one of your coaches, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay, see, Tone and I, we know each other, but this relationship is new to me between the two of you. So I'm curious to see what Tone has got. Your dynamic. I told you
about this guy a long time ago.
You were the one who told me about Zion, and you were the one that introduced me to him sort of indirectly through social media.
Right.
Yeah, so Tone's always had my back. But I've never seen you two interact, because when we were at Bellator together, we were kind of like, you know, I was on Media Row, and then, you guys were, you know, doing your thing. So what do you have to say about this guy starting wrestling so young and then achieving so much success in the sport?
Well, you know, first off, it was just amazing to hear his story. And not only hear his story, but I can kind of share some of the experiences that he had in those foster homes. I've been there, done that, and how you're mistreated, and then your voice is not heard because you're either crazy or you're making it up. So I respect, you know, him the utmost. To be able to do what he's done with no legs is even more amazing. He's been a big inspiration in my life as far as when I deal with people who complain about stuff. I've never heard him complain one time about what he doesn't have, what he doesn't or can't do.
Yeah.
I've never heard him complain. So in my gym now, I don't want to hear it. It's a zero tolerance of what you can't do or what you think is hurting, because to watch him train, the way he trains and his tenacity and just how he moves and just mentally, when things aren't going the way, you can look at him and tell things aren't going his way, and he bounces back and he comes back with something else, and he's constantly pushing. So he's made it worse for my guys, because watching him, you better not say one thing that you can't do. I'll smack you upside your head. But Zion is not only an inspiration to people with legs, but he's an inspiration mentally to people who are mentally weak, because I don't look at it, if you don't have legs, you don't have this, you don't have that, there's a problem. You just make the adjustments and you do what you have to do. But where I'm amazed at is the mental capacity that he has. You can't explain it. You have to be around it to see it. You can read all the books you want, but until you've worked with him and you've seen his drive and his ambition, it's just a whole nother level. And to be able to work with somebody like that, I cut him no slack at all. In fact, I have to go harder on him, because he demands more.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? He's like, no, don't take it easy on me. Okay, let's turn up then.
Yeah.
but just, he's amazing. Just I don't have the words for it.
Okay.
Like, I'm in celebrity shock right now.
I am so glad that you were able to join us, because it's nice. You know, I usually only get the perspective of the guest, but having been in his life, how long have you two known each other? How many years?
I just met him out May. Yeah, I met you in May because that's when I first came out here. Because I met Joey a couple months prior to being on the Ellen show, because Joey came out to Ohio and came to my house.
Okay, Joey Davis.
Yeah, Joey's my boy.
Yeah. Okay. All right, interesting. Well, you guys seem very familiar with each other, so that's good.
You know.
Yeah. Okay, I want to jump back to the progression of your wrestling career. And, you know, when you and I first spoke, you told me, what were you doing when you were approached about wrestling? You were in art class and you were...
Oh, yeah, I was making a styrofoam imprint of a cat. Like, I don't know. I like
but
cats.
that moment stuck with you.
Yeah,
because it was a moment for you. It was pivotal in your life.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think I still have that drawing somewhere, because I remember that day, because he was like saying it was like such a good job, and I worked hard on this little project.
Yeah. And
then he said something about wrestling, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna finish this, and I'm gonna look at this little flyer. I'm gonna take it home to my mom and see what she says. And you know what's crazy? I didn't get to do nothing. Didn't get to go hang with friends. Didn't get to go outside. Like, I was literally stuck in a room all the time. No TV, no nothing. That's like, so all I had was like a keyboard. So I'm like, I'm very musically talented. So like, I had a keyboard, had a little snare, guitar. Like, I'm versatile.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like, well, she's not gonna let me wrestle. And I approached her with it, because I'm like, I'm thinking like, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And she said yes, and I completely threw me off. So I was like, all right, cool. Let's do
it. And this particular mom, are you still in touch with her?
No. I'm not going to name any names, but she is the lady that threw the chair.
Oh, okay.
The chair lady.
The chair. So it's surprising that she let you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? That was a moment of opportunity, and it changed your life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You have a tattoo on your back. What is it?
Oh, it says no excuses.
Yep. That's right. No excuses for you, certainly, in looking at the progression of your career. So now you started at 8, and then your coach's twin brother is the guy that approached you. Your high school coach's twin brother, right? So it all kind of stayed in the family, because you have a few key players that really paved your path.
Yeah, listen to this. So his name is Gil Donahue.
Okay.
And I remember my senior year of high school, it was coming towards the end of the season, and I was really like, I was on fire my senior year of high school. Like, I was beating guys nationally ranked, beating guys state ranked, beating multiple state places. Like, I was just beating anybody and everybody that stepped in front of me. And I was starting to struggle a little bit, because we were at this tournament, the Mon Bay Classic, and I had like 2 returning state champs in my bracket. I was nervous, and he sat me down. He said, remember when you first came to Maston? I was like, yeah. He said, my brother Greg called me, said, hey, I got this kid. I've been working with him. I want you to keep working with him. And they kept putting their heads together, and they were coaching at 2 different schools, but they would call each other all the time, see what they could do to make my wrestling better. And they did that for years, and I didn't even know it.
That's so amazing. So he's like a second dad to you.
Oh,
I'm sure.
He's definitely a father figure. I don't know my dad. All I know about my dad from my birth mother is that he is in jail, and she won't give me his name.
Wow. Do you want his name?
No, I don't care.
Interesting. Something tells me at some point he's going to come finding you. Am I wrong, Tone?
That's how it works.
It always works like that. I've seen it work like that for other
But that's
people.
how you know you're making it.
But I think he should try and research him, because I think we forget, even though his dad didn't do what most dads would do, or he has issues in regards to his dad, he's still his dad, and there's things that he needs to know about himself that he can learn from making a connection with his dad. So even if it's not a good thing, it's not a bad thing either.
Right.
To bring closure.
Oh, I agree with you.
If he passes away or dies, or God forbid anything happens to you, everyone needs closure, and that's what we have an issue with. We don't have closure. So I think at some point maybe you can help him make that connection. It doesn't have to be an intimate relationship, personal, but at least
I just want
a connection.
My thing is, I just kind of want to know what he looked like, because I met my birth mother, and I really don't look nothing like her. So like, I'm just assuming like
his dad probably was a specimen. Look at this guy.
No, listen, my little brother, he's 14 years old, right? Dude is 5'8".
Sound speaking
14,
to the mic.
This dude is 5'8", 14 years old, and he's like almost as big as me.
Wow.
The genes.
Okay. Yeah, he's probably a big dude.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I will say if you reach the point where you want to have a sit down with him, I'd be happy to facilitate that.
Sounds like a plan. I'll think about it.
Think about it. And Tone, I understand your position on that. I think if I'm understanding Zion correctly, you feel like he doesn't deserve to have you in his life.
No, him or my birth mother don't deserve anything from me. They really don't, because they didn't even remotely want to give anything to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it really, this is what really solidifies this thought process. 3 years ago, it was the one day where, like, my mom was like, I'm not giving you a ride to the mall. So I'm thinking, like, I gotta take the bus, and I hated taking the bus.
Mm-hmm.
So I took the bus, and it was when I met my birth mother. She was on the bus heading to her job. I did not know she worked that close to where I lived.
What?
Yeah, and she said my original name, and nobody on this planet at that time knew my original name. They just knew me by Zion Clark.
Yeah.
Because my original name was Zion Zachariah Daniels.
Okay.
Now it's just Zion Zachariah Clark. But, like, she said that name, and I was like, very few people know that. So I looked at her, I said, who are you? And she said, my name is Melanie Daniels. And I was like, shit. Like,
You ran into her on the bus?
By accident. And she tried to tell me, she's like, I've been looking for you. And I'm like, no, you haven't. Because at that time, it was like, it was after I won. So in high school for track, I won 2 back-to-back state titles. Mm-hmm. I'm the 3rd person in my school history to ever do that. And so, like, they had, like, my face was on billboards, on signs, like, literally everywhere. So, like, there's no way that she didn't see it, because, like, we literally passed one on the on the bus.
Route. Yeah.
She's like, I've been looking for you. I looked at her dead in her eyes. I said, no, you weren't. No, you weren't.
Yeah.
Like, you looking for me? You would have found me years ago. All you gotta do is go to the agency.
Yeah, exactly. There's a whole paper trail of how to find you. Okay, so then did you dialogue further?
No, I said, I just straight up told her, listen, I keep it real with everybody.
Yeah.
I'll tell you how I feel at any given time. I told her, I said, like, best wishes to you, but stay away from my family. I don't want to hear from you again.
Wow.
That is so harsh.
No, Tone.
Wait, let's
give it. He needed that moment.
I understand it.
Whether he changes his mind down the road is something else, but I bet that felt so good.
It felt great. Honestly, it felt great.
But that's anger. See, we can't operate on anger.
I wasn't trying to operate on anger. The fact that she lied to me to my face, saying that she was looking for me, really.
I understand. But again, take away the emotions, and at some point in his life, it's gonna come to him having closure. Mm-hmm. And if that's what he chose to be his closure, that will probably be the downfall of his growth. You can't look at things like that. And I mean, we have to get into some major talks with psychologists, because I'm a part of that. And you have to let that shit go.
Right.
And be the person that you are. He's an amazing person. He can actually help them. He may have been put here just to help them. Because of what he's accomplished without them. They've got to live with that burden, not him.
Agreed.
He was just a young man doing what he was doing because of the situation that they put him in. And look, he's excelled. This is an inspiration. Had these things not happened, we wouldn't have Zion here, and we wouldn't be able to do what we do and think the way we think, and I wouldn't be able to kick my guys' asses the way I do, because this is the example of what hard work and determination is. So if we ride on the coattails of, they weren't there, let's express it, let's get it out. But let's not let that hold us back from growing, because he's got an amazing life ahead of him, and he's done amazing things already. Can you imagine what the other things are going to be?
I agree, and I know
in his time, of course.
That's my whole thing. Is
right.
I think everything in its own time, and I think that Zion, you are 22. You've accomplished more than I don't know, most people in their entire lives, honestly, to this point.
Right.
However, because you're still growing, I wouldn't want you to get distracted with the emotional stuff with your parents right now.
See, that's my position. That's exactly how I'm thinking right now. Somewhere down the road, I want to make sure that I'm set up and I'm supporting my family. I'm like, pay off my mom's house, make sure my sisters are straight, make sure everybody in my family is straight.
Yeah.
And then make sure I'm straight, my family's straight. After that, I'll make a trip back to Canton, Ohio, see what she's doing, maybe sit down and ask her the exact questions I have, because I do have questions.
Yeah.
But I mean, like you guys already know, it's been 3 years since I said that to her, and I still won't go talk to her. I'm focused on other stuff right now.
You haven't heard from her?
No. I gave her my number.
You gave her your number and she hasn't reached out.
Yeah. Just to see what happened.
Exactly. All right, Tone. I hear you, but on his time now, because I'm just being a little protective. I just don't feel like she deserves it. But it's not for her; it's for him. I get what you're saying.
That's the growth in him, though. See, we're talking 22.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that are going to transpire about parenting when he becomes a father.
Right.
And
right.
when he starts having kids, there's things that's going to change his ways, and then that's going to change the way he thinks, which is going to make him say, okay, you know what, I need this, I need that. And that's only going to come from biological. We can have all the step parents we want. I've had like 9 of them. But there's something about when you understand your genetics, who you came from, the mother, the father, there's good and there's bad on both sides. Let's bring the good to the good and let's bring the bad to the bad. Let's acknowledge these and make things better in life. That's what we're here for. We're to be better people. So, I mean, you got to know your past to know your future.
You share really good perspective, especially given, you've shared on your show that you were molested as a child and you didn't really have a relationship with your father, right?
Right.
And I understand now, having been a father, you have 3 kids.
4, 5, 6. I keep popping them out.
Wait, do you really?
Yeah, I keep making them pop.
No, Tone, how many kids do you have?
I have 4, and I've adopted 4.
No way. I thought, how come I only know the 3? So I know about Mason,
AJ, Miley,
yeah,
and then Eric. I have a Hispanic kid. Actually, Spanish. No, Hispanic, yeah.
Oh, I don't know about Eric.
Yeah.
How old is Eric?
25.
Okay. Is he lying, Zion?
No, why would I lie?
Tone is such a jokester. I never know.
I'm not joking.
Serious.
My jokes there's truth in my jokes.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Well, we're going to talk about Eric off air because this is news to me. Okay. So, all right, well, now I'm thrown off, but I want to get back into Zion's career. You've accomplished so much. Let's talk about your accolades from wrestling in high school. What type of awards did you receive?
Oh, first off, I didn't receive a lot of awards until like my senior year, because leading up, like I was good in middle school or whatever, but that's like middle school,
right?
Like youth and middle school. I was just stronger than everybody. Like I really didn't know what I was doing. I was just stronger. High school, everybody else was like just as strong.
Yeah, and
they were twice my size. High school, my freshman up to senior year, I only weighed 86 pounds, wrestling 106.
Okay.
And didn't win nothing. Didn't win a single match my freshman year. Didn't win a single match my sophomore year. Won only 2 matches my junior year. And then, senior year, shot out the gate, undefeated the first 17 matches.
Wow.
And then halfway through the year, I was only 20-4, and then ended up 33-15 by the end of the season. Through my school, they named an award after me, the Zion Clark Award. They've been passing out since 2016.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, so they give that award to the most dedicated, the best, the wrestler that perseveres through most of the crap that they're going through, especially on the mat, because wrestling is a very unforgiving sport. Either you're there and you're really working, or you're not and you're getting worked on.
Is that a good way of putting it, Tone?
Yeah, very good way.
Yeah.
So, how did you get into track?
So my junior year of high school, I watched my sister shatter the state record with a torn MCL in the long jump, and like she went from 4th place to 1st place as the last person to jump. So I watched my older sister win state, so I was like, oh, that looks fun. Like I want to do it. And then I saw these guys going around in these chairs, and I was like, oh, that looks pretty cool. And this dude, he I guess he was like a 4-time state champ. Really, really cool dude. His name is Casey Falloway. And his coach came up to me surprisingly and was like, hey, you look like you'd be good at this. And like, funny thing about it, my freshman all the way up until senior year, the track coach at my school kept asking me to do it, and I kept telling him no. Like I just didn't want nothing to do with it. Did
you not think you could do it?
I was stubborn. I just didn't want to do it. I guess there's no reason besides I was kind of being a jerk. But I finally was like, I'll give it a shot, because like being in that atmosphere at like a state championships in Columbus, Ohio, at Ohio State, that was just like, I was like, man, I would love to be here. I only trained for 2 months in the track season, a very vicious training, and it's like after 2 months, I ended up pulling out 2 state titles and 3 more top 3 placements at the state championships.
So when you're competing against other people in chairs? Okay. And I would imagine your shoulders probably go through a lot of like injury or impact, right?
Track, not so much. The only injuries I really had on my shoulders is from wrestling. Like, I've dislocated my shoulder twice, torn my shoulder once, broke my hand once, and that's all like wrestling.
Wow. You have some really big arms. Like, I'm very distracted by the size of your arms.
Big arms you have there.
Okay, so going back to your mom. Now, the woman that you refer to as your mom, tell us about her, and what is her name?
Her name is Kimberly Hawkins, and mama don't play no games. I'm telling you that right now. My mom, she is really great. When she first got me, like, by the time she got me, after going through the foster care system, I was a bad kid.
Yeah.
Like, listen, I was like, I'd run from the cops. I'd throw stuff at cop cars. I'd do anything I possibly could do just to see how much I could get away with.
Interesting.
And, you know, I was the home before that, I would get into fights all the time. Either I'd get jumped in my sleep, or like I'd wake up and this other dude would wake me up to go jump this other cat that was there in his sleep. It was like literally like you fight to survive.
Yeah.
Just like that's all it was.
Yeah.
And it didn't help that like we were in the hood too, so it was like you couldn't just like walk out the house because someone might rob you. Walk out the house.
Wow.
So like
that's so stressful. Tone's laughing, but this is
no, because he knows.
Yeah.
Sounds like good old memory. If I would have been around, it would have been me and Zion getting other people.
Yeah.
We would have had a blast. Get them, Zion. I got your back.
But no, this lady, I don't know. I remember I got the last fight I got into. I showed this dude in the wall and I missed his head and I put a hole in the wall, and it was on Thanksgiving. And the lady was just like, "I gotta get you the fuck out of my house," and that's exactly what she told me. And so like she called the agency and nobody would take me. I was in Massillon, Ohio, because that's where I've been like for like the second half of all foster care. So I was in Massillon, Ohio. I made a bunch of friends, made a whole bunch of like teammates, a bunch of guys on the team. Like I made a lot of friends at that point. And they were about to send me to Cincinnati, Ohio, which is about 3.5 hours south.
Okay.
So I was about to lose all my friends, like just start everything over.
That's really stressful as a high school kid.
Very stressful. And they approached my mom, who was only taking in girls at the time. And they were like, "Hey, we exhausted all our options on this kid." Like they really did. Like I've been through so many homes. Like they were like, "We don't even know what to do with him. It's either going to be like he going to jail or he going to a group home." Wow. That's what it was. Those were the only two options. Wow. It's either those two options or my mom. And my mom, without a second thought, was like, "Yeah, I'll check him out." And she told me this. I didn't know she did. I was in band. I told you guys I'm very versatile in music. I also was a trumpet player. And I was a really good trumpet player. I was first chair since like 5th grade. But
he's like 2 snaps.
Yeah.
Yes.
She came to a band concert, a Christmas band concert that year, and I didn't even know.
Oh, before you had met her.
Yeah. And she said that she knew right there and then.
Aww.
And she got me in. And it was like, I don't know, it just felt right when I got there. Because a lot of homes I've been in, I'm like waiting for a fight. Like I really am. Like I'm waiting for a fight with the parent, waiting for a fight with the siblings. Because I'm ready for. I was ready for anything. I was ready.
When you would go into these homes, would they greet you with warmth? Would they at least put up the front that you're welcome? Or
some of them yes, some of them no. The one that was kicking me out, before I went to my mom's, I went there my freshman year in high school because I had gotten in some legal trouble getting kicked out of the house before that. So I'm going to this house, and this one day, I'm not going to say his name, but I really did not like him in school. Like we got into fights at school. Yeah. And I didn't know he was a foster kid, but turns out, guess he was living in the same house.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I walk in the house and I'm like, man, he look at me and just walk downstairs to the basement. Like we already knew like this was about to be the worst living situation we ever been in.
Yeah.
Ever. Yeah.
Damn. Okay. All right. So then you get to mom's, and her name is Kim.
Yes.
Kim is your mom. And when you refer to your sister that inspired you to get into track, who is that?
Her name is Indonesia Clark. She is, we all call her Indy because she don't like being called Indonesia.
Yeah.
But she's just a badass.
How does she fit into the mix with all the different families?
I really identify with her because I don't know, she's also a martial artist.
Okay.
She's a black belt in karate. She's in the military. She went to the military combatants tournament. It's like a national tournament for the military. Got second the last couple of years.
Nice.
So like she really is just like dangerous. She's built. She's built like a dude.
Oh wow. Okay.
I can say that. But
Is she Kim's daughter?
yes.
Okay.
She's my mom's youngest daughter.
Youngest biological daughter.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I have my older sister Kamari, who has a kid. My little niece Malia. Cute little girl, such a brat. Funny thing, I have this video from this just recently on Christmas. I showed her a rear naked choke, and she was like, I was trying to tap because she was choking me out.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't get off of me. I was about to pass out.
That's about the only choke I know, but I'm pretty good at it too. Just so you know.
Rear naked?
Yeah. Tone.
No, look,
Interesting.
look, I told my niece to get behind me. I was like, she had it. She's like, what do I do? I said, squeeze. She said, what? I said, squeeze. She started squeezing, man.
Yeah, I know to squeeze the elbows inward.
Yeah. No, she did exactly that. She catches on fast.
Yeah.
I showed her how to headlock somebody last year, so.
How old is she?
She's 6.
So me and a 6-year-old are on the same level right now with our MMA repertoire. All right. So now you have this awesome family. Life really turned around for you.
It did. It took a little bit. When I was at my mom's, we had some back and forth battles.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, she had to call the cops on me twice.
Oh wow, Kim.
Yeah.
The nice.
Yeah,
godly
this is
lady that I
mom.
met?
Yes.
Oh, you met her?
Oh, she's a powerhouse. This woman's got it.
Yeah.
She's got it.
Yeah.
You can look in her eyes and see it.
Tone loves strong women, by the way.
Yes, I do.
So
Yeah.
my mom was raised in the hood too. Don't let her fool you.
The one that I met.
Yes.
Okay.
Like my mom was raised in the hood. You know what they used to call her? They used to call her Kimberella. Like they did not mess with my mom. And I like growing up, it was like if I showed some backbone, my mom will show some backbone. Because sometimes these families, I show some backbone and they just like they get scared. They just think like I'm gonna beat his little ass. And my mom didn't think like that. My mom's like, I ain't gonna hit you, but I'm taking your phone. You're grounded.
She treated you like a real mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you speak about her, I notice you don't refer to her as Kim. You're like my mom.
Yeah, because she is my mother.
You give her that respect, and I love that. Okay, so you moved in at 16 and a half?
Yeah.
And then when did you stop living with her?
I stopped living with her the year after I graduated high school.
Okay. Wow, so it was a short time. So it was like 2 years, basically.
Yeah, I moved out when I was 19, turning 20.
Okay. And then did you move to a different home in the area?
No, I ended up going to Kent State University where I was wrestling.
Got it. Okay. So tell us about that experience.
Oh, man, it was a blast. School was great. I liked everybody I was going to school with.
Yeah.
Wrestling, I came out firing because I already had that skill level. I knew what I had to do. I knew everything was business. Busting my butt in the room. Like, I go sit in the room an hour and a half after practice over just shooting on the dummy.
Yeah.
Just kept putting in all that work and ended up being an All-American by the end of my freshman year.
What does it mean to be an All-American?
You place at nationals.
Okay. Interesting. Well, I want to take a brief Titan CBD break. We're going to do a little CBD toast. My sponsor is Titan CBD. They are awesome. So this guy, the CEO of the company, he's a scientist, and he developed this formula actually for kids. So you're going to try it, and I'll kind of explain it to you more as it's fizzing under your tongue.
All right, Tone needs it. He's a big-ass kid.
CBD.
Yeah, and so this is the pre-packaging because they're in production right now.
That's dope.
What does it taste like?
It tastes good, actually.
So, what the hell? It actually tastes good.
Okay, so describe what you're feeling, Zion.
I feel like my mouth is having a party right now.
What does it taste like?
It tastes like Pop Rocks. Like I like the strawberry Pop Rocks for some reason.
Strawberry? Interesting. It's lemon.
Lemon. I don't know why I said strawberry then.
But someone described it as like tasting like champagne a little bit too.
This does not taste like champagne.
This is like a mouth orgasm.
That's why I say, man, a mouth's having a party.
Due to the fullest. Maybe you can prescribe me some of this.
Okay, so It's
Wow.
just CBD. There's no THC in it. So,
Wait. What do you mean there's no THC in it?
there's no THC. So there's no
Not
like
a
marijuana.
Drop. Not
a drop.
a drop at
Not
all.
a drop.
0.0% THC.
I would not mess with you guys
So how is
knowing
it
that you're
effective?
competing because it's just CBD. So the science behind it is that they strip basically the components that enable you to heal. So it's good for anxiety or gym ailments or like any type of muscle soreness, arthritis.
Where can I order some of this? I have a lot of athletes that could probably use it.
Yeah, definitely. So TitanCBD.com is under construction at the moment. It's a brand new company.
Are you looking for investors?
I actually know they're kicking butt, Tone. They are. They're actually potentially going public very soon.
Okay.
So yeah, but you're gonna see them. You're gonna
I
see
need to
them
talk
on
to
the
you about
market.
this off the air.
Yeah, we'll talk.
Don't mind, Clarice.
Yes. All right. Okay. Well, I'm glad that was a good experience for you guys. We'll check in a little bit. You'll start to feel the calm effects very soon because it kicks in quickly.
I don't know if he can feel anything.
I know Tone doesn't feel shit.
Calm? Who wants calm?
All right. So let's talk about college and the ladies. Like, what was that like for you?
Oh man.
Yeah, I know Tone's going to want to weigh in on this, but I want to hear from
Yeah.
Zion.
We just had this conversation.
Oh, really? Is this what
Yes.
you talked about in the car?
We're not gonna have that conversation.
I want to know.
No, we ain't.
Come on.
No,
Well,
we ain't.
we'll edit it. How about
Yeah,
that?
let's edit. Let's
Okay,
edit
all
that
right.
one.
Give us the abbreviated version.
All right, but so school is cool. I mean, like, I was ranked top 4 in the country at Kent State, so like, I mean, I'm number 4, and like, you know, every time I win, it'd be like party back at the wrestling house.
Yeah.
So you know, my house with my other roommates was a spot, and we won pretty often.
Mm-hmm.
Like our team was ranked in top 5 in the country, so like we did very well. You know, and you know we have a party, like a whole bunch of girls poured in all the time.
Why are you holding back, Zion?
Because
He's
Trying
waiting
to
for,
get
he's
to
waiting
the
for me to
good
ask the
stuff.
question. That's
All
what he's
right.
waiting on.
Okay, Tone, I'm handing you the
I'm
mic.
gonna go off of toe and toe, whatever Tone says.
So, you know, I'm kind of like Zion. I'm straightforward, straight shooter.
Yeah.
You like me or you love me or
Okay.
you hate me. There's no middle.
No
So
one hates
I was
you.
curious, you know, when I first met him, like, you know, sexually, are you able to, you know, have sex with a woman?
Yeah.
And his
The
reply
people
was,
want to know.
I said, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
it's,
Yeah, okay.
So I said, okay, you know, he black, big, muscular. I said, you packing? He's like, yeah, I'm packing. I said, okay. Because he has some very attractive women, you know, in and out of his life. And I'm like, hey, Zion, who's that? He says, oh, that's my girl. I'm like, okay, all right. he pulling better women with no legs than most guys pull with legs. So
Right.
I'm trying to figure out, like, he must be
He
special.
must be working
He must
with
be blessed.
some special
But then
equipment.
as I started to look at him, he's a very attractive
Zion's
man.
dying right now.
No homo, but he's a very, you got to really look at his features, see? He's got the perfect nose, his facial features. He's a really good-looking black guy, right? Next thing is,
yeah.
I
You better
said,
say no homo after that, man.
Yeah.
You just
No,
saying I'm
yeah.
a good-looking black man, bro.
okay, no homo. But there has to be a secret to his success to women. And then I kind of looked at his,
So it's not his personality or charm.
well, I think it's a combination. But then I started paying slow, strategic attention to from his nose to his chin. And notice he has very swift movement. So I knew the answer right off the bat. We talked about it. And I said, you can't fool me. I know boop, 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 boop. And he was like, how'd you know? I said, boop, 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 boop. And he said, bam, 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 bam.
Oh, I'm
And I
going
was
to
like,
read between the lines here.
I knew there was something. You know, you just can't get away with just being good looking anymore. And of course, there's no legs. So come on, Zion, you got to.
No, what really
give me the
starts it?
secret, homie.
It's the initial curiosity that I don't have legs that starts it. It's like I'm fishing, man. And then get a catch, you start reeling it in, and you be like, I ain't got legs. And then I'll be like, but
The butt.
come find out.
The man. We're gonna write a book about it. Actually.
Okay, hold on. Now, Zion, what age did you have your first sexual experience?
14.
Man, you beat me.
14.
Shit.
Yeah.
I was 17.
What?
Yeah.
Tone,
I
you
have
were
to say-
fucking 11.
No, I was being taken advantage of around that time, but I didn't actually experience it until I was 17.
Now, would you say that you're emotionally available?
Oh yeah, I'm solid.
And you're ready for love?
I mean, if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. I ain't looking for nothing, but if it's supposed to happen, it's gonna happen.
Okay.
Can we expect kids?
Huh?
Can we expect kids? Can we expect some little Zions running around?
Yeah.
I know they're going to be beast mode.
At some point.
Okay.
I feel like like his kids would be like your little Mason.
Oh, God.
Every time we talk about Mason, you're like, my badass kid.
No, look, I went to his house. I showered at his house before I came here, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there after the shower, picking my hair out. He comes up behind me and just starts pulling on my hair.
He's something else.
You don't discipline him, Tone.
Yes, I do, but you got to understand, it's me and the mother. Mm-hmm. If you discipline him like that, you're going to create something dangerous.
Okay.
So I don't want him to get used to being disciplined like that.
Right.
I want him to understand his actions, and then there's consequences for those actions that are not done right.
Smart.
And he's just being curious. He's a 2-year-old kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he wakes up in the gym every day. What does he see? Grappling, punching, kicking, grappling, punching, kicking. So all he's doing is mimicking what he sees every day. I'm not gonna chastise him for that. I'm gonna let him get a little bit older, a little bit more mature. Then I'll start to curve that into a direction to where it works to his advantage, and not discipline him like most people. Oh, he's not gonna go to public schools. He's not public school material. He's the president of the United States. I'm not gonna send him to a regular school.
Where are you going to send him?
He's going to have homeschooling.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely.
Really?
He gets enough social activity in the gym with all the other people, mainly adults. So for me to put him in a classroom setting with a bunch of gaga, goo-goo, boo-hoos is a disadvantage to my son.
Don't you think that he needs to learn how to behave with his peers? Because him being in your gym, he's still the owner's son. So he's going to get preferential treatment.
He doesn't know that.
He will, but But the way people regard him, he's always going to get special preferential treatment. And so in life, we need to be. I'd hate to say it this way, but like we need to learn the lessons of being knocked down, and then conflict resolution, and how to accommodate other people, and then be accommodated. And there's all kinds of lessons that come from public school or school in general.
I agree to disagree, because I was in public schools, but it was a disadvantage for me versus, so me, knowing my son and knowing my genetic makeup, we learn different. We don't learn like most kids in regular schools. So the school system, the way I see it, is not designed to educate me the way I'm capable of being educated. If you have a lot of money, then you take a person like me and you put in a special school where my learning ability is times 10 faster than the average kid.
Right.
My son is that fast. At 2 years old, he's already doing arm bars, chokes, punches, kicks. So for me to
he's more advanced than I am. Forget the 4-year-old.
Right.
So again, I think as parents, we got to understand who we are first. And then the creation of what you've created is from you and the Father. How well do you know yourself? So for me, I've got the master plan. Look at AJ. He's 17 and 0.
He's a beast.
He left college. Not everyone is school material. My son didn't say, Dad, I want to be a doctor. Dad, I want to be a lawyer. Dad, I want to be this. He says, Dad, I want to be successful. Well, me knowing him, I had to pull him out of college and let him fight full time. He's now $1 million tournament. He's 17 and 0. He's already bought 2 pieces of real estate. We're on the right track.
Yes.
School, he would have had a debt. He'd still be in college getting his degree, and God forbid, something happens and he's not able to go out into the world. He's financially set up already. That's because of me.
And he's being strategic with his sponsorships too. He's really making the most out of his like fame, but also his skill.
Right.
Yeah.
So for me, my family, we're fighters. We're born fighters. It's genetically in us.
Yeah.
So to put me in a classroom setting to learn accounting, it's going to be a disadvantage for me because I'm not going to be happy. And what we do, we enjoy it, and that's why we're so good at it.
I really feel you on that one. That's pretty much the same thing that I'm going through right now. Being a professional speaker, I am motivating millions of people.
Right.
Like, and I know that as a fact. And like on top of that, it's a profession. If I was still sitting at school, under NCAA rules, I legally wouldn't be allowed to do that. And that's something I love to do. You know how good it feels when someone comes up to you and like forget about the money, forget about all the fame and stuff, forget about all of it. Someone comes up to you and says like, "Hey, I listened to you speak. Hey, I got to talk to you. I don't know if you remember talking to me, but I was going through a hard time. I was feeling suicidal. I was really about to end my life. I see what you're doing, and it seems like you have it way worse. I'm really working hard, and they'll keep giving me updates, and I'll just keep looking at them.
See
And
what I'm saying?
it's amazing.
Different strokes for different folks.
Right.
So little Mason is right where he needs to be. Zion is right where he needs to be, because you don't know how many lives this man's changed and saved.
Right. Well, on that note, I watched your Netflix documentary called Zion. That's so cool to have a documentary about you, like, right?
Yeah, I'm jealous.
That's so sick.
Yeah.
I was a little like, oh, okay, this 22-year-old got his own documentary.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so I watched it, and I teared up. You know the part, spoiler alert, but you know the part when, like, your coach started crying?
Yeah, I've never seen that man cry until that time. That is, let me tell you something about Coach Donnie. He doesn't cry. He will beat the crap out of you and not shed a tear. He could be giving you some sad news, and he'd be looking at you straight forward. I'd never seen him cry up until that day.
Yeah.
Never. Not once.
Wow. Well, he was, I mean, and you could tell it was heartfelt because, like, his body was, like, moving with the tears.
So what is this? Because I'm not familiar with this. So what do I do? Go to Netflix and
just search Zion.
Okay, go to Netflix and search Zion.
It's super easy. We can do it on your phone. I watched it on my phone.
Okay.
And
check that out.
Yeah, and it wasn't even that made me tear up though. It was like a minute or two before that, and I can't remember what it was, but I just felt really inspired. So you guys out there, check out this documentary. Go to Netflix, search Zion. It's only 12 minutes long. Just fit it into your day, and go move mountains. Yeah. Okay, so you're with the Gersh Agency.
Yes.
Tell us about your job. I mean, how cool is that you just get to be this professional speaker telling your story and inspiring people?
It's awesome. Nothing I would have ever expected to do in my entire life. And crazy thing about this was it all started when I came back to LA in May for the Ellen DeGeneres show.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm on Ellen, meet Jason Momoa, make connections, have dinner with, like, Jason, his trainer Mata, who I work very closely with now.
Nice.
And after that, they were talking. They were like, "Hey, down the line, you might need an agent." And it was just like a whole bunch of things just started happening, and one thing led to another. At one point, like, it all somehow pieced together. I was at Tony Branca's mansion. Like, this guy, he's Michael Jackson's lawyer, so like, showed me all the original platinum plaques, original Thriller glove, all that cool stuff. And after that, he was like, "Hey, I heard you need an agent. I know a guy." And I was like, "All right." And his name is John Bogner. And he got a hold of me. And he said, "Hey, would you like to do a cookie dough commercial? And in return, I take you and Joey to Gersh just to sit down and talk with the vice president and the president." So, after that, like, I talked to Joey about it. Me and Joey met with him.
Nice.
And we were like, yeah, let's do a cookie dough commercial. Like,
who doesn't love cookie dough?
Right. So we, you remember that day? Yeah. So we did a cookie dough commercial in the gym. And a couple weeks later, we're at Gersh. Haven't had, like, a long meeting.
Yeah.
But meeting went perfect. And they called me back. And they're like, "Hey, we want you to sign." So I had an attorney look over it, had my lawyer look over it, and everything looked great. They weren't trying to, like, steal a lot of money from me starting off, and, like, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They have people like Dave Chappelle and Angela Bassett working under them. Like,
that's so dope. I think so many people aspire to be a part of the Gersh Agency, and then also doing what you're doing. I think let's, like, really let it sit. Like, soak in, guys. This guy's 22 years old, and he's out there inspiring people 2 or 3 times his age with success, by the way.
Yeah, no, I listen to a lot of rap music, trap music, but
yeah, that's where you get your inspiration from.
Some of it, yeah, honestly,
yeah,
because, like, those guys, like, they weren't raised with sunshine and rainbows and none of that. I know I wasn't. It's a song by the Migos, and he said. And he's like, you're big when the elders really know your name. When like, people way older than you are recognizing what you're doing, you're making a difference.
That's a very good point. Yeah, you're crushing. Okay, so every guest on the show talks about that moment or maybe like a cluster of moments that we would define as, quote, failures. Tell us what you would define as the biggest failures of your life.
Being homeless. It was, I know I just said that was really blatant, but I got kicked out of my house after high school by my mom, actually. But I was still kind of figuring myself out, like still getting in trouble, but not as much trouble. But she kicked me out. She's like, you can go anywhere, but you can't stay here. You gotta go.
Because you weren't being an upstanding citizen, like you weren't following her rules.
I wasn't following her rules. I was still out with my friends doing questionable things.
Yeah.
Still figuring myself out. So she didn't give me my clothes. She didn't give me nothing. She did that to teach me a lesson, and I did learn that lesson. But I was thinking like it was January, so like, I was like, it's cold outside. I need some clothes. I need a place to stay.
This is in Ohio?
Oh yeah, Ohio. Okay. Don't go to Ohio. But like I love to stay. I love my family out there, but don't go there.
Okay.
But I was like, man, I need to get a job. I need to get some food in my stomach. I need to start doing stuff to help myself. Because leading up to that, my mom and my family did, like when she adopted me, I did get some help to point me in the right direction, but it was mainly up to me to actually make the changes that I needed.
Of course. And
I started making those changes, and for the next year and a half, 2 years, I stayed by myself. Lived at a buddy's, paid his parents' rent. Kind of got a feel for it. And then I got contacted by a couple colleges saying that they still wanted me to wrestle, and scholarship offers were still on the table. So I was like, you know what? I think it's time to take that chance and see what happens with it. And I did. And college wrestling exploded onto that scene. And now I'm here.
So she really actually did you a favor.
Yes.
Yeah, because you wouldn't have gotten your act together.
Oh,
you were comfortable. You were complacent.
I was very complacent. I couldn't care less about anything, honestly. Now I'm not complacent. I can't even sit still for more than 5 minutes.
That's my boy. Hey.
Yes, you guys are definitely the same breed.
See, I'm going crazy over here, twitching and.
Yeah, man, I've been moving. I've been twiddling my fingers.
We're looking at each other.
Okay, I want to know, Zion, what's next for you?
The biggest thing I say is next for me would be the Paralympic trials in Minneapolis, June 25th to 27th. I get first place there. I go to Tokyo for the Paralympic Games and represent our country.
Damn.
The last couple years, I've been like top 3 in the fastest guys in the 100 meter. I mean, tied the American record once. Constantly set multiple track meet records when I'm not racing my rival. And, back in 2017, I was actually out here at UCLA and got second at the World Trials. So I got super close. They ended up sending me to Canada instead while Worlds was going on. And, I'm in my, what's this year? Oh, yeah, 2020. 4 years down the road since 2016 when I first started the sport. I feel like I'm not a seasoned professional, but I feel like I got what it takes to make the team because I want to be a world champ. I want to be able to look at somebody and see that there's nobody on this earth that is better than me at what I do.
God, you are certainly on your path for sure. All right, 10 years from now, 32 years old, where do you see yourself?
I don't know. Hopefully not as crazy as this man. But
a bunch of kids running around, a bunch of Zions, and I'm their coach.
I'd say maybe a family, but for the most part, I want to be able to say maybe a couple Olympic medals around my neck. Hopefully they go. Hopefully I want to be financially stable. Yeah, I'm on my way right now, but I want to be extra stable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, get your whole family set up like we talked about.
Yeah, and I'll just go from there. I want to be able to 10 years from now. I want to be able to say I'm still motivating. I don't want to just stop after I have some big success, because if you stop with just one big success, you get complacent. I'm not complacent.
I think so too. And it's almost scary because when you do achieve that one big success, you're kind of like, okay, if I try again, then I could fail. But right now I'm winning. So it's kind of it messes with your mind a little bit. But I love that it's not like you've ever had just one big success. You've gone through multiple now, and you keep growing.
Well, I've failed. I've won a decent amount of things, but I promise you I failed way more.
Listen, no one, I don't think anybody would look at you and think anything's been handed to you. The fact that you've achieved anything means that you've had to work significantly harder than the average person to get there. But you're kicking butt. And so, I believe that you were going to make it onto that team, and you're going to end up in Tokyo, and you're going to be a world champ, and you're going to accomplish all of the goals that you set your mind to, because you're mentally strong, and that is so much more important than physical strength.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah. So we have just a couple minutes left, and we have Antonio McKee here, who is not only a good friend of mine, but a friend and a coach to Zion Clark. Tone, is there anything you want to ask Zion before we wrap up?
Of course. Well, I'm going to speak for the people that are on the outside. One of the things that I think people would ask, I'm really good at placing myself all over the place, is what drives you to do what you do?
The fact that I see other people doing it, and you know, it's kind of, I don't want to be that guy, but I've seen like friends of mine like excel way at a way earlier stage than I did, and I was always like chasing that bit of success, because while they were succeeding, I was constantly failing, and I hated that feeling. I couldn't stand it. But I mean, I didn't quit, but like it's still a horrible feeling. And I don't want to feel that feeling of loss ever again for the rest of my life.
Okay, so that's what drives you?
Yes, I don't want to lose. I want to, anything that I do is not, I'm not talking about just sports, but I just want to win at everything I do.
Interesting.
So now, once you've made that accomplishment, that in your mind you've made that accomplishment, what motivates you to keep going?
Why just stop there after the first one?
But what mindset? I'm on the outside. I don't understand you. I have some issues with excelling forward in life, and I need some drive. I understand what pushes you, but once you accomplish what you try to accomplish, this is where most people fail in life. Once they get to a certain point in life, they go downhill.
Yes.
You see it with all your high-level athletes. I'm doing this for my mother, my father, my family. I'm going to buy my mom a house. I'm going to get a car, blah, 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 blah. They accomplish that. Now, here comes the down. What motivates you to keep going? Because that's where most people experience the down. That's why I'm asking this.
Well, once I achieve everything I want to do, it's like, you know, you could be satisfied with what you have, and it will go downhill. Because that level of complacency, it'll take you nowhere. Like I said, I'm not that type of person just to sit down and be like.
But give me the mental part of it, because I don't understand it. I'm the guy. I get it, but I want people on the outside that don't know how to ask this question. What makes you go after you've accomplished what you set your mind to? Now the next project to accomplish the accomplishments after that and after that. What keeps you going?
I want to be the best possible version of myself.
Okay, so your hunger comes from, I think I actually discovered the answer in between the lines when you said that you saw other people accomplishing things that you wanted to accomplish. And so you never want to be second best. You want to keep going and surpassing all of the others. It's almost like you're swimming and there are people swimming next to you, but you're like, no, I'm gonna reach the land first. You know?
Take them out of the equation.
That's
They're
exactly
not there now.
Yeah.
They're not there.
And
now what?
And this is a perfect time to tell you that it's like that for track right now. I am constantly getting second place. And I'm losing to the number one guy in the country constantly for the last 4 years straight. That's a long time to lose to the same person,
right?
over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And you know, I see that he keeps making the team for Worlds. He's making every team, and I'm right there. I'm at a Team USA B standard. I need the A standard. I want to be that. I want to be that athlete. I want to be that world class athlete like he is. I mean, I know I'm younger than he is. I know that he has like 20 plus years of experience on me, but I don't care. I really
Off the
don't.
record,
Right.
we'll get there, but we're gonna have to talk about it privately. We can't-
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
I got you on that
Okay.
one.
All
That's
right.
an easy fix.
I feel like I
Tone
know
is
what you're
gonna-
about to tell me.
Now, you already know.
Yeah, I know what
we're
you're about
gonna
to tell
talk
me.
about
Well, how come
we
I
do
don't
it.
know?
There's secrets. We'll tell
All right,
you later.
guys.
We'll
Yeah,
make these
tell me
adjustments.
later because we are officially out of time. I want to do a quick recap on Titan CBD. How are you feeling, Tone?
Shall I say in person? I feel like I ate a peppermint patty. No, I'm good. I feel good. But I always feel good. So I don't know. I'm not giving you CBD and credit. No, I'm just joking. No, I feel much calmer, more controlled.
No, I don't want you to say if it's not for real.
No, I'm telling you, I feel much more calm. I don't like the fact that I feel calm. I'm not a calm person.
Yeah,
but
I know what you
feel
mean.
like chill.
But if you had any injuries or you were going through like a real stressful episode, then this is when I've done this. I've taken it for stress and for muscle ailments, and it definitely.
Do you have a sample bottle I can take home with me?
No, but that'll actually give us a reason to meet again soon because it has been far too long since we've hung out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
You're
I'll
the
get
greatest.
you some. You are the greatest.
Thank you.
Zion, how you feeling?
Like he said, I don't like how I'm really relaxed.
These guys are like alpha male monsters, and they just want to be like all the time.
I felt cool. I feel so cool. But
Yeah,
I came in here like ready.
I'm not like I always like to fidget my thumbs and stuff. I'm not doing that. Like I have to move, and I feel like I can just like
you're chilling.
take
Yeah,
it out.
even your posture in the chair, Zion. You're
yeah. Like
is this for kids with ADD, ADHD?
I can ask
Because I can see this helping them quite a bit.
Yeah.
Interesting. You know, the whole reason he designed like the pop rock element was to help kids. I just don't know specifically for what. But yeah, I'll let you guys know on the next show. Yes. All right.
Great one.
Give us your Instagram handles, Antonio.
Antonio McKee. That's it.
Perfect. And Zion?
Oh, I don't even know. That's a really horrible thing to say, but it's like I always just mess it up. It's like big _Z _2020.
Here, I'm looking it up because these people need to know. Yeah, big _Z _2020, or you could just search Zion Clark, Zion. I'll also tag you and everything. But thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been a real pleasure, and we'll stay in touch and follow your journey. And when the time comes for you to meet with your father or your mother, we'll do it on the Jenna Ben Show.
Let's do it.
Thanks, guys. You can tune in. We're on 5 times a week. You can tune in Tuesday at 8 p.m. Pacific, Thursday at 9 a.m., Friday at 9 p.m., Saturday at 5 p.m., and Sunday at 7 p.m., all Pacific Standard Times. You can find me at The Jenna Ben Show on Instagram. Thank you. Love you guys. Love the support. Keep sending those DMs, and I'll see you next week.
Peace.